No. All right, we're going to call this meeting to order, the June 26th, 2023 meeting. We're going to need to approve the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, the next thing is to approve the minutes from the May 25th, 2023 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Item 4 is financial statement. Court.
Good afternoon, board members. I provided the May 2023 financial statements and check register for your review. As of May 31st, 2023, we have collected 100.8% of our budgeted ad valorem tax revenues compared to the 94.8% that we had received last year. Our total expenditures and transfers out in the general fund as of May 31 were 71.6% of the budget compared to 71% last year. All things being equal, we should be at 66.7% of our budget in the 8th month of the fiscal year. We're a little above that due to some payments for large one-time expenditures. Monthly financial statements and check registers are available for viewing on our website upon board approval, and all bank accounts have been reconciled as of May 31st, 2023.
Board members, I recommend approval of the financial statement for May 2023.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the financial statement for May 2023. And all board bank accounts have been reconciled through May 2023. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any discussions on that? All right.
Under consent items, I recommend the board approve items related to job description updates, student transfers, in-state, out-of-state overnight field trips.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendations about the updates to job descriptions and student transfers and field trips. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Board members, I want to share with you just a couple of things on this. Because of the large size of it, I just opted to put these under consent items. Job descriptions, just so you know, there are a couple of job change titles. Executive Director of Personnel and Director of Fine Arts titles. And the Director of Fine Arts is only one different contract-wise. It goes from 10-month to 12-month. The rest of these have to do with who is supervising these positions. We have had 2 assistant superintendents. Now we have 1 assistant superintendent. And so the supervision is over those. The supervision is by 1 assistant superintendent. And so that's the main thing I wanted to clarify.
All?
No, just do it all.
I did. For approval?
You got first and second, so do it all.
All in favor? Sorry.
You can get it. All right. Item 6 is business. And letter A, I recommend the board approve the Board of Education meetings for 2023-24.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the Board of Education meetings for 2023-2024 school year. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Right. Item B, I recommend the board approve the update to the Board of Education Policy 2.5.4, public participation.
Heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the Board of Education Policy 2.54, public participation. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? You gonna explain
I
that?
do, I'd like to explain that one too. Everyone, let's go pull it up right quick. Is it in the new form with?
It's on the agendas.
Okay.
The new version, yes, sir.
Yeah. Pull this up. Okay, I want to point out to to you what this is, just as a note for you that the changes we made to public participation in the first paragraph is that we changed that public remark could be given, could be made, but we would ask that you inform the superintendent in writing as soon as possible. That has previously been 5 days before a board meeting. So we really are just saying as soon as you can, as soon as you've seen the agenda, you would like to discuss something, we're making that provision to provide for some more public input if necessary. There was a maximum 5 minutes that we changed to 3 minutes, and then a note about the board not typically responding to comments. And so I'll leave this really to the boards. This is a policy matter in terms of what the intent is. But I just want to explain the language.
Mainly, we want to just give people in the community an opportunity to come in and speak more openly instead of just emailing all the time. So we would just like to give you an opportunity to come into our meetings and share what's on your heart. And you have an opportunity to come at any meeting, and we will sit here as long as we need and listen to whatever you would like to discuss with us, and then we'll know more what administrator we need to get you in touch with, or a teacher or a faculty member, and we'll just take notes of that. So moving forward, that's our agenda. Anyone else?
No, I think Jacqueline's right. We really want to encourage you to come to the meetings. It's probably the easiest place for you to communicate with the entire board and many of our administrators who are here at the meetings. So that, as Jacqueline said, we can get you to the right person. Most of the time, it will not be a full discussion, but we do need to hear from you. And oftentimes, it's easier to do that in this setting than just an email. And you'll know that you've been able to communicate with the entire board and Dr. Freeman all at the same time.
Okay. Thank you. Go ahead, Doug. Pretty good. Item C is I recommend the board approve the update to board policy 5.10.5.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to update the board policy 5.10.5. Have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second. I want to show you this language. This is just a small modification on the language as it relates to personal leave. And so the board provides employees have 5 personal days that you can read. 3 that come from the state, 2 from the state and 3 additional days. And what we wanted to make sure of is that all full-time employees may be compensated for unused personal leave provided the state those 2 days at the end of the school year at the approved daily rate. The daily rate we currently pay is $100. So that has previously read more like teachers may receive that, but anybody that's full-time that has personal leave is entitled to it. So we just wanted to clarify that policy piece because that payment will typically be made in the July payroll. So we're going to go ahead and get that on the agenda for tonight.
Any questions or discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, item D, I recommend the board approve budget amendment number 1.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve budget amendment number 1. Have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Courtney, if you wouldn't mind, just a brief on the revenue expenditure changes with this first budget amendment to the general fund.
Yes, so there was some state allocations that came in after I had prepared our original budget. So I'm just adding these to the budget. So in accordance with state requirements.
The timing of some of these revenues are always different when the board will approve a budget typically in late August, early September. The timing of these comes after that fact almost every year. So there are provisions in general fund budgets that you can do amendments, obviously. And so you can do, I think you can do 2 in a year. We typically do 1. So this just reflects those changes of grants or other funds that came in unexpected that we received.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any questions, discussions on that?
Thank you. All right. Item E, I recommend the board approve the 2023-24 salary and supplement schedule.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the 2023-2024 salary and supplement schedule. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second. I'd like to speak to this for just a moment. The schedule that you have in front of you represents the requirements from the State Department, or excuse me, from the legislature that we implement. And they include across the board a 2% raise. So all employees that are compensated on the salary schedule get a 2% raise that becomes effective with their next year of employment. In addition to that, the teams contracts, which are for teachers of math and science, secondary grades, they also got the same raise, and their contracts, their salary schedules are different than typical teacher schedules, but they are reflected on teams. In addition to that, one of the objectives of the state legislature was to provide some means of compensation for teachers in special education and speech pathologists. And so there's a $1,000 supplement for those teachers that fit in that category that's a part of the schedule as well. That's mandated by state law. And the last thing is related to support positions. So positions that are considered support or classified positions that support the work of the schools, and that can be custodian, office staff, extended day program directors, et cetera. All of those were to have a minimum of a $15 per hour wage. And so we had to look at all of our schedules and to make sure that we were meeting the $15 minimum to start with. And we had a couple of schedules where we had to make that adjustment. And we have made that adjustment on the schedules. It was custodial and EDP director schedules particularly. In addition to that, the law required that those schedules also have the same percentage difference in the steps that we had this past year to the steps we have this year. And so we made those adjustments as well. And I want to just say that we've had a lot of work from Courtney and her team, from Meredith and her team. Dana, who represents AEA, has been helpful and just in the last few days making sure that we've got these pieces right. But I believe we have the schedule appropriate to what the state legislature has required of us, and that's what I present to you tonight. Questions you have?
When we do these schedules, obviously, there's a percentage of our teachers are paid from local sources.
Yes.
About how much local money is it required for us to implement these raises? Across
About 500,000 for the 2% raise.
additional 500,000 from our local funds.
Yes, from what the state would give us, that's right. It's a significant impact. Anytime a raise is authorized by the state, because we do have local support units. And that has created some challenges for us, but I will tell you they're good challenges because the thing we most need to support are our people. So I'm proud that we're able to do it. We just have to be mindful of it in our overall budget.
Thank you.
All in favor?
All right, thank you, asked. Item F, I recommend the approval of Littleton Electric for the fire alarm project in the old Civic Center.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the contract for the fire alarm system in the old Civic Center. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Board members, the Civic Center that we inherited as part of an agreement with the city does not have a fire alarm system. And I do want to say as a disclaimer, a fire alarm system is not required for that facility because of its age. But I believe because our children are using it, we have a lot of activity going on, and it's just necessary that we have a fire alarm. So that's reflected in this bid that we took for the $117,000 plus. And we would go ahead and start the installation of that upon your approval.
All right. Everybody good with this?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
I do want to note that these funds are coming from the Public School College Authority bond issue from 2020 that was related to construction needs. So we have some of these dollars for safety needs left, and that's where it's coming from. Item G is that I recommend the board approve the contract for the fire alarm system in the old Civic Center.
I'm sorry, I just did that, didn't I?
We did bid it.
Oh, we did that, okay.
Yeah.
You heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the contract for the fire alarm system in the old Civic Center. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Item H, I recommend the board to declare demolition and replacement of canopy at Vestavia Hills Elementary Dolly Ridge an emergency project.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to demolition and replace the canopy at Vestavia Hills Elementary Dolly Ridge, an emergency project. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
So, yeah, a couple of weeks ago, we had a delivery vehicle that made some substantial damages to the canopy structure in front of the school. They hit it pretty hard. It's a steel frame that took some real doings to bend, but we did, and we've had some structural analysis of it. The bottom line is I have enough concerns to think that I'd rather not take any chances on structure of that canopy system and just do it away with it. Put the new canopy up with the metal canopy system that actually would cover a larger piece of the area where they do drop off and pick up. Certainly, we're not at fault, so we're working with their insurance companies and all to manage this. But I did ask Mr. Boone to offer an opinion on whether we could not have to bid the project for emergency circumstances. And so, Mr. Boone, I'm just going to ask if you don't.
The answer is yes, it's definitely an emergency. We're dealing with small children, traffic, and inclement weather are the issues.
So upon your approval, we will start the process for getting bids and trying to get this demolished and put up. Dr. Randall knows that he may be without canopy to start the year, or we'll be out at some point, but we'll get it up. He's got plans, I'm sure, worked out on how he'll manage drop off and pick up, but we still will have school. This will be a project we can get taken care of at some point here in the school year. So.
Any questions? All in favor?
Item I recommend the board approve the contract for Dean of Student Services.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the contract for Dean of Student Services. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
The Dean of Student Services is something we did 3 years ago with Buddy Anderson upon his retirement. He is active in our schools in a lot of different ways, but I think what he most does is serving our students. It shows a lot of things I think that are character traits we want in our kids, and so I just appreciate the fact he's still with us and wants to be a part of it. And this is simply a renewal of the contract we started 3 years ago.
All in favor?
Item J, I recommend the board approve the contract for administrative services support.
Heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the contract for administrative services support. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Board members, we have had a position similar to this in place. Dr. Chris Pennington had been doing it as an assessment coordinator, but we did shift some responsibilities. He retired, and so Roger Doncard, who's recently retired full-time with Board of Education, will be taking this contracted role for us in Dr. Pennington's place, and he'll be doing some more things related to administrative services.
All in favor?
All right. Item 7, I recommend the board approve the personnel items as submitted.
Heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the personnel items submitted. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right. Under administrative reports, I provided something for you that's really information on, and I try to summarize each year the work in our strategic plan by looking at our pictures of success and how we are making progress toward our goal, our 3 goals, what we think success ought to look like in our system. So you have that document. I certainly review. We won't go through it this evening, but we'll talk more strategic planning next month as well. But I did want to spend some time specifically in the area of athletics. Each year, we'll bring to you a report on the athletics program, the strategic plan that they work under. And I was traveling downstairs tonight and heard a ruckus in the room and wondered what it was, and I realized Myra's people are here. So she has brought the full contingency, and I'm so proud to have everyone here this night because she wants to celebrate the work they've done. But this is a great opportunity for you to hear about a program that affects 33 or 4%, about a third of our student body in grades 6 through 12. So Coach Miles, thanks for coming. Take it away.
Well, I'm gonna take a lot of time. I could take a lot of time based upon the list I left up on the table for everyone, but I just appreciate the opportunity to be here. And I first want to say, I appreciate everybody being here in the representation role, our high school, our middle school, our city, the board, everybody that's here. That means a lot. I'm going to talk about some accomplishments that have been done, and it's a lot of them. So, but I want to start with something that I think is something that a lot of places overlook. And I think that this is kind of one of the crown jewels of our student athletes in Vestavia. I don't know if everybody in here is aware, we had 6 national merit finalists, our athletes. We had one in tennis, one in boys tennis, one in girls soccer, one in volleyball, one in track and cross country, one in softball, and one in boys basketball. That's incredible. That doesn't happen in a lot of schools. I mean, there's not that many national merit finalists in most systems. And we have that in our athletic program. So I'm extremely proud to be a part of a school system that has this happen. So I wanted to start with that. Also, I want to follow up with our cheer program. I know Jacqueline is very familiar with the cheer program. We have a national champion in the cheer program with our JV program this year. They were also state runner-ups. The varsity competition were 3rd in the state, which I went to that, and I still think that was Bush League. I thought we had of course, but I thought the kids did great. I was really proud of them. Our cheer program, how they're so athletic, and I just wish we could get them to do more than cheer. But they're so year-round. They're just so competitive, and they do a good job. But we had 5 state championship teams this year, 4 state runner-ups. We had so many to finish to qualify for regional play. We had so many to end up in the top 4 in the state. And it's just, I could go on and on and on. And on this handout that you'll see individual young men and women that did incredible things this year. I know I met with Coach Richard Anderson this year. He was this year our first year head coach in our track program. And Coach Huber in the past had done a tremendous job, and Coach Anderson just picked that thing up and just took it to a whole nother level, which I just didn't know that could be done, but he just did a tremendous job. And I believe it was his 2nd year here with us, is that right? And I'm just super proud of him, and listening to his plans for his program was just unbelievable for what's coming. Lauren's got a child in the program. I think she could really attest to that it was just amazing. And I'm proud of all of them. The thing that I want to make sure we talk about before I talk a little bit about our middle school programs is it takes so much. I think this is an incredible year overall, because I can honestly say we did not have one program that was just absolutely terrible. Even in our programs that struggled, we had at least one person in that program that could compete at the state level, And I think that is such a tribute to our coaches and the people that are leading these programs. And I know we just had one lady that has just retired from our school system, Ms. Deborah Broom, and I say every child in our school system should have to be under Deborah Broom for 1 year to just experience working with her and her positivity and what she's brought to our program. Thank goodness she's going to still coach for us. So we're going to keep her around. But that, all of our programs have done tremendously. You'll see all the athletic accomplishments that all of these kids have done. But, our middle school programs have just done a tremendous job as well. And at Pizzitz alone, we had the Metro champions were boys bowling, girls golf, girls tennis. Runners up at Pizzitz was 8th grade football, 8th grade boys basketball. And at Liberty Park, 7th grade girls basketball, and I think that was a real exciting finish this year, how that ended up. And then Liberty Park golf, boys golf was really well. We've got a lot of really good coaches of the year. At high school, we've had with baseball just finishing up strong. And what a great story with our baseball program this year. A lot of people didn't give them a chance, and how they ended up was just phenomenal. But middle school, we had several coaches of the year, and we're really, really proud of all of those coaches. Again, it's about the leadership of those programs and the kids. And I want to say, I was on a call this afternoon with our 2 middle school principals, just making sure that I hadn't talked to the middle school ADs about what we talked about. So, but I wanted to get something approved by them so y'all didn't have to go beg to do it. So, but it's just really great to have that ability to pick up the phone or get on a Google chat and talk to the people about everything. But, the vote, everybody wants to ask me how I felt about the vote. Sure, I was disappointed. But you know what? And I'm being honest, all of my crew will attest to this. Do you know who I really was sick about it for more than anybody? Band and my wrestling program. And I'm being honest, am I not? The multi-purpose facility was the most misunderstood thing in this whole city. It would have been phenomenal for our school system, but we're fine. But those are the 2 areas that I was really hurting for, because we need that. And, but we're going to move on, and it's kind of like what I say, so what, now what? You've heard of Kevin Elko. He's a tremendous guy. So what, now what? We just move on. We have big plans. This past week, we spent some time together as a staff in Killen, Alabama, at my home. We had a little retreat, and we had some really good times. We had some really good discussions, some hard discussions that were funny, but I gave everybody 7 questions that I wanted them to answer. And of course, I answered them too. I asked the questions myself first, and I always started it. I think Michaela felt like she was the new kid on the block, and we always ended up going to her next. So, but it was very insightful. And we've got a lot of plans for the future of what we want to do. We want to grow. We want to help our new coaches more. I know that Coach Casey and them have some things in place that we're going to build on, and we're just going to continue to grow and grow. But at this point, I want to, number one, just tell you as a Board of Education, Dr. Freeman, and of course, Ms. Roselle, and all of y'all that are here that were when I first got here, I want to tell you how much I appreciate y'all allowing me to get them around me. We have something that nobody else has. I'm telling you, y'all allowing me to put this staff together is something that makes us run. It's not a Myra machine, it is a them machine. And we have that because of y'all. And I can't tell you how much that means. We'll continue to get better every year. I can promise you that. We're not going to get stagnant. But what I want them to do is I'm going to have them, y'all didn't know I was going to do this, but I'm going to have them all stand up. We worked on a dance when we were in Killen, Alabama, and they're going to have to get up and dance for y'all. I'm kidding. I'm going to have our middle school, our 3 at the middle schools stand up. I want them to tell them about themselves, where they're at. And Michaela's the new kid on the block. We're really thankful to get Michaela going with us, but just tell us a little bit, let everybody know what you're doing, where you're at.
Yeah, I'm Brent Brisendine. I'm at Liberty Park Middle School. I'm the head football coach, 8th grade football coach, and I help with basketball. And like Myra said, one of the things that I'll never forget, Miss Roselle saying help change the culture out there when I was hired. And this will be year 6 for me here in Vestavia. And we're not where we need to be. We'll never stop getting where we want to be. But we have, thanks to people like her and Dr. Barr, hired some great coaches, and we got it going in the right direction. So just blessed to be here.
Hey, I'm Michaela Spence. This is my 7th year here in Vestavia. I coach volleyball, and prior to taking the co-athletic director's position, I was also the girls' 7th grade basketball coach, and I teach 8th grade science in the classroom. I think one of the things I'm most excited about when Dr. Bunsberger and Coach Miles approached me about it is one of the things I feel like throughout Vestavia is the work that we're doing in our character education program and just really instilling that into our students. And so we're excited, Dave Kizzy and I shared the role together to really take that into athletics because I'm a firm believer that majority of the things that our kids learn on the court or field, they're going to take into their jobs, how to work with people, how to communicate well. And so I'm just really excited. This is only, I think, a month I've been doing this since
You're
like
killing it.
April. But I'm just really excited and to just get in and start working on things like this and the whole system.
I'm David McKenzie, and I coach. I'm the head seventh grade football coach, and then head grade girls basketball coach at this. And then this is starting year 18, I think, for me, working with Vestavia athletics, and in one way or another, I started as an athletic trainer, did 4 is that like outreach, IUAB sports medicine, then started working for the system teaching as well. Kind of like Michaela said, I mean, I've been here long enough to kind of see where we are, I've watched us grow, and, just really excited to see where we're heading with adding our programs. I mean, we're back, like the Zits, we're back to where our numbers, we're gonna have about 80 on each football team. And we had dropped that down a little bit, and we're heading back up in all of our programs, so we're really excited about it.
Go ahead, John.
My name is John Simmons. I am the intake coordinator, supervisor of alternate placement at the high school. I'm also assistant athletic director, varsity softball coach. Wear many hats. I was at Hayden High School in Blount County for 27 years prior to coming here. This is going to be my 3rd year and starting year number 30. I have loved the rejuvenation of coming here. Vestavia Hills has been awesome. What a great to be such. The first day, I'm going to tell you, I'll get along with it, and Myra has to tell me to shut up, but brought my daughter with me. She was a junior coming in. She just graduated this past year. And we got out of the truck the first day. I said, you need to ride with me because the parking lot, I think, is going to be a crazy thing. And as soon as we got out, I just looked up at the hill, and it looked like somebody kicked an ant bed. I mean, there's kids coming out of the hills like crazy. There were so many students here, and I thought I came from a pretty good sized school in Blount County, but the 7A program, to be so big and massive in terms of numbers, it is such a family-oriented place. I mean, really, the staff that I work under with Ms. Roselle, and got to meet Mr. Mann before we went over to the freshman campus, and getting to know Myra and Laura, it has been just rejuvenating for me. And I feel like a giddy first or second year teacher, even though this is starting number 30. And so I enjoy being here and enjoy the work that we're doing. And I can stay up here for a long time talking about Myra. I had an exit meeting. I don't know if Myra knew I was going to turn it around on her, but I sang her praises just because I'm in awe at her leadership. I'm in awe at the vastness of the way she handles multiple things. I was an athletic director at Hayden when I left, and I had no idea the difference between that level and this level and what she handles, she deals with, she copes with, and she's able to put the right frame of mind in the right way. Another one of my jobs is I am Dragonfly. I think sometimes people tell me, so I handle the Dragonfly with the eligibility of the students. And so Myra enables me to do that, and I'm glad I'm able to do my part and be a part of this group.
And he is your Over the Mountain softball coach of the year this year. Very well deserved.
Oh, I'm next.
You're next.
All right, I'm Laura Casey. I teach chemistry at the high school. I've been in the Vestavia system as a teacher for 15 years, starting year 16. I was actually a student here as well. So this is a lifelong thing for me. As far as in athletics, I wear lots of hats. And it depends on the day, I think, as to what I do. But one of the things that I would say to all of you is it is such a privilege to work in a place that doesn't set a cap for what we can do. If we can dream it up, you guys are willing to listen and say, let's see if it works, let's try it. And I think when you look at the video board we have that's bringing in fundraising income for our sports teams, when you look at the new student intern program that we just started, who's going to run video and graphics and web design, like we're doing some things that other people envy, and that's because you guys allow us to do that. So thank you for that. Thank you for the ability to work with these people. We can talk about Myra all day long. She's amazing. And we are just so grateful to y'all for letting us do the things that we do.
Well, I'm going to say something about Laura and John before I get to the real bosses of our department. Laura and John, they see me, my good, my bad, my ugly. They see me mad, fussing, crying, carrying on, and they are rocks. They are rock solid. I don't worry about when I'm away. They do an unbelievable job. They bring me great ideas, and I know when to get out of the way, and that's the beauty of this job. And I love their ideas now. Miss Greer and Patrice Langham, these two ladies, thank y'all. We could not function without these two ladies. So Miss Greer, we'll let you go first. Everybody in here knows you, but I want you to tell everybody anyway.
Well, I think aside from Buddy, I'm probably the oldest one here. I got my social security statement the other day and it said my first paycheck was in 1966. So anyway, I actually came from South Trust Bank. I had been there for 25 years. I'm from Gunnersville and used to a small community and all. But the opportunities here that have been provided by the community and the desire of the community for excellence makes our job so much easier. I've actually been at at the high school for 17 years. This is starting my 17th year. And I thought when I was growing up, I thought, oh gosh, I want a big family. Well, God blessed me with one child and then this. And I have 55 teams that I take care of between the high school and both of the middle schools. I do all their financials, their bill plan, their purchase orders, and I'm proud of what we've accomplished because we've got it, I think, hopefully to a well-oiled machine through pictures and scanning and emails and texting and all. And it's just such a joy. I look forward, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, it's such a joy to come to work every single day. And then the children, plus I get to babysit the girls in the alternative school, and so we have a good time. Sometimes too good, we have to be calmed down, but that's okay too. Maybe I'm a bad influence on them, but I told them, I said, if we had alternative school in Gunnersville, I would have been there every single day because I was a chatty Cathy. But anyway, I just so enjoy everything, and I'm so thankful that I really and truly feel like this is my family, and I can't put into words what it means to me to have such a full heart. Lauren and I go way back. Laura and I go way back, and so thank y'all for the opportunity to serve y'all.
All right, Patrice.
All right. Okay, my name is Patrice Langham, and I am ending my 4th year here in Vestavia. I did 14 years in Hoover prior to coming to Vestavia, and I was a registrar when I first started here. And so this is going into my 2nd year of being the athletic secretary, and I have truly enjoyed it. Primarily assisting Myra and John and Laura, and so I really enjoyed it. I was very excited when she asked me to do it, and so it's been different, challenging, but very, very exciting. And so I enjoy doing it. So just thankful for you and Freeman and Roselle for allowing me to come into the role. So thank you.
I hope what everybody can see is you can hear how well-rounded. You've got teachers, you've got coaches, you've got business people. So they're a tremendous group to have. I just appreciate again the time and like Laura had stated, when we went to the national conference, we came back with some really good ideas. And the intern program that she spoke of, we're really excited about that. We're fixing to really help kids, and I think your son is going to be involved in that from the graphic standpoint. We're really excited about that. It's just these kids are working on their resumes, and it's our job to help them, and we'll help them get into college and hopefully some scholarship money as well. So, y'all have any questions? Or
I got a couple, Myra. Thank you for the report. The first one is around the financial plan that you have in athletics. You've been here a couple of years, and a couple of things maybe you speak to, just an update on where you are with the process of moving the boosters to individual organizations and what that has looked like. The other thing would be related to the board itself, the value of the board at the stadium. Certainly a reminder that I didn't realize I had background. The board itself that was funded through private funds completely, but what that means now to that program and how that can be beneficial in other programs, that kind of modeling.
yeah, first of all, let me just say that the boosters, now that was kind of that was a little bit of almost like going to the dentist office for some of the coaches because they were used to a whole completely different avenue of doing things. But now every single one of them are 100% on board. We've got it streamlined to where I think the parents are all on board and they get it now where they're raising funding and everything's going to their child, their sport, their team. And so it's been, I think that all of y'all would agree, it's been one of the best things that we could have ever done. Instead of having that big umbrella to where you had one booster club and nobody really knew where money was going. You know, you can look at any time, everything we have, everything is completely transparent. As a matter of fact, we're starting to get all the new budgets in. We post all of our budgets online on our One Rebel Athletics. So anybody at any time is able to see our budgets for every single sport. So that's something that was real important to me as well as everybody else, that we were being very transparent and everything, especially dollars that parents are out there raising. And as far as the board, that has been phenomenal. Was it tough to get out and raise that money? And yeah, it's tough, but how beneficial has it been? It's phenomenal. What I'm hoping this year is the other sports that use the stadium will utilize it more. I think they were a little bit scared of it at first, but what football has been able to do in their boosters club is they went out and created 3-year contracts. And so every year they start their season, they'll be able to have to renew contracts. They'll have a surplus of over $200,000 coming in right off the bat, 220, I believe, 225. And so that's the revenue on top of what they're raising on other fundraising, avenues. So what I'm hoping this year is that all of our other sports will reach out, and they don't have to do it exactly like, I'm a real big believer in doing 3-year contracts. I know that Laura did a lot of those. She handles all of our corporate stuff for just our athletic department, where we're able to help all of our non-revenue sports to do 3-year contracts, in that it helps keep that flow of money so we can lock it in. So, but hopefully it'll continue to grow and we'll just continue to build. Our goal obviously is to get another board in the gym, because I think that that's just something we need to get out in front of everybody else and do it.
Yeah, well, the business model of it makes great sense, really. It's win-win, how you do it. So with regards to growth of coaches, like we've got a great cadre of coaches throughout our system. You're constantly trying to get them better, improve them. So what are your practices in terms of evaluation of your programs?
Well, one of the things that came out of this weekend, the 2 days that we spent together, is we are developing a program that we're going to get, especially we're going to go with all of our coaches, but especially with our younger coaches as they come in. A lot of our coaches don't understand the simple things that have to be done as a head coach, what their responsibilities are. Some of them don't understand what EFP is. They don't understand that they have to do all of these things. So we have a process that we're going to try to do. Laura and I've had a conversation about, I would love to contract somebody, and it wouldn't necessarily have to even be somebody in our system. I would love for it to be somebody within our school system to come in and be a character education person that could come and work with every single team at some point. Like with one of the sponsorships that Regions has that came on board with football, they come in and do a financial wellness system with our football program, which is phenomenal. We get positive feedback like crazy on that. So that's something that we're trying to engage in to grow even more so.
Individually with coaches, you go through an evaluation process or end of year, end of season evaluation. Talk to me how you built on that last couple of years.
Yeah, it's been really fun. First year, it was a little painful because I didn't really know everybody. It's harder to have those conversations with people that you don't know, that you don't really have a really good relationship with yet. So I met with every single head coach last year. This year, I met with every single coach on our staff, head coach, assistant coach, and that took, what would you say, Laura, approximately 5 months to get through everything? I want to spend enough quality time with them to have consistent conversations with them on how can we get better? How can I help you? It's just things that they don't necessarily hear from a head coach. The problem with our head coaches in today's society is they feel like they can't get their hands off of things. They have to do it all. Well, that's not what we hired assistant coaches for the head coaches to do everything. So the process is in place now, and the next stage that we're going to now is I want to sit down and meet with every single middle school coach. That's my goal this year, to get through all that with them. So it's constantly learning. constantly trying to grow, meet with every single team, talk to every team at the beginning of the year at some point. We went to a massive meeting at first of the year, and it's hard when you've got every single athlete in one setting. You don't feel like you get to reach them. So, but that's just an ongoing process of getting to be, and two, just having conversations with coaches at ball games, having conversations while you're out and about on campus. So that's kind of it.
Like, what is the expectation of communication that like you tell the coaches? Because clearly some people are just better at that no matter what. Well, no what job you're in, but some of the coaches, like I know my son is in some sports, and some have a like personal assistant ultimately that's shooting everything off to the parents for them.
Right.
And it's extremely organized.
Right.
She's sending everything out. Other coaches don't have that. So I feel like when it does fall on the coach, they are so overwhelmed, and we just don't get all the real-time information. But when you have that personal assistant in the school sending it out, they're just cranking it out, and it's just seamless.
Every single sport has the option of having an operational assistant in their program. And that can be, they can be paid X amount of dollars from one end of the spectrum to the other. Okay, some that have a higher load pay a little more, and they deserve every penny of it. But as far as, and I have 2 sports right now that I can tell you, and my staff gets tickled at me. I tell them all the time, whether they think they need an operational assistant or not, they're getting an operational assistant this next year, because my staff ends up having to do half of the work. And that's just, they've got enough on their plate. So that's the answer for everything, is to have an operational person in place there. But as far as our staff, it got so bad that I had to do a to-do list. Who do I contact for this? And it took almost 2 pages. But after the second year, I think we finally have everybody who to call when this breaks down. Who do I call for this? Who do I call for that? And we have every single person to contact within our office and staff. So I'm hoping that year 3 is going to be fantastic for all
Hopefully more of
communication.
them will get an assistant.
It is
That
much
makes it a
better.
lot easier when they have it, for the parents too.
And I'll say this in closing, let's shoot some other questions. Go.
I was just going to say, I want to thank Coach Miles and the athletic staff. I mean, coming in, we've had great coaches, since I was here and before. And y'all came in, brought a new vision. Sometimes change is hard. What I was impressed about is you shared that vision, what change would look like. You kept in mind that our community expects excellence not only on the field, but in the classroom. So I appreciated you sharing that we've got these national merit finalists who are also excelling on the court and the field. And as we move forward, we often talk about learning without limits. Well, I think what we want for our student athletes is they don't have to choose excellence in the classroom or on the field. They can do both. And that's only because of the people here in this room. So thank you.
Well, when you can, like I said, when you have over a 3.8 GPA from your 10 through 12 kids, we will work it out for kids to be able to do what they want to do. Our coaching staff is committed to work with each other to make it happen.
And as a board member who has sat in on some of these meetings, I want to make sure our families know that Coach Miles or coaches or teachers are committed to working that out. If you have an academic athletic conflict, they want to work that out. So please go to your coach, go to Coach Miles, and try to work through that for what's best for the student athlete.
I just want to echo a little bit about what Scott said. Over the weekend, I watched a movie, Race. It's a Jesse Owens story. It's a great movie. But beginning of the movie, the track coach goes to Jesse Owens and basically said the opposite of what Scott just said. I don't care about how your grades. I don't care about anything. All I care about is how fast you run. And I just, we're just the opposite here. We were the whole person, the whole experience, and the balance that goes with it, and then the excellence that goes with it. And you're the captain, my captain, leader of the ship, and I couldn't be more impressed and just thankful that you're here and that you're doing what you do for our program. So I
Thank you.
sincerely
I'm glad to be
appreciate it.
here.
And look forward to what's to come. Y'all tied our record for 91 with 5 state championships and one.
There's more coming.
Yeah, for one unsanctioned, at that time it was softball, so we like to say 6, and so you could say this year with lacrosse, it was unsanctioned with 6, so,
We're coming.
beat the record.
Going to.
So, anyway, thank you.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, one of the things Ms. Rosetta did for me just recently was just a survey of comparable systems and looking at some of her staffing needs that she has and what that looked like. Athletics was one of those, and I think it's important to validate that it takes everyone plus more than sitting in these rows here. This is what you'll see in programs with the number of kids that we have. It indeed is a major operation that is largely driven by parent involvement and corporate sponsors, but it takes a lot of administration to do it. So it's every bit worth the investment that's being made. So I really appreciate it. Thank you to you and your whole team.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Who else, and I couldn't make it, but I get to talk to him at least.
I'm just a troublemaker.
And the next thing we have is public comment, if anyone is here today to speak. We'll give you Mrs. Cook. Please state your name, you agreement.
I am Kimberly Cook, and I live at 4487 Galen Way. Thank you for letting me speak just for a moment. I wanted to comment on the public participation policy that you passed before I even arrived because I was late to the meeting. I wanted to thank you for that because that is an improvement in transparency and access to the board and the opportunity to speak publicly about things that are important to parents. And parents really think that's important, and I wanted to thank you for that. So that's all I had to say.
Thank you. All right. Well, we are good. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? All right. All in favor? Yeah.
Patrice, great